Okay. Okay. Boker Tov, Boker Or, Boker. Did you see what I posted on the chat? Tzvi, can you hear me?
Boker Tov.
Boker
I
Tov.
hear you.
Did you
Boker Tov.
did you see what I posted on the chat this morning? Right before you,
No.
Nachum Brook posted something, and I mentioned to him a certain thing about the Shir D'Seh. In fact, I'm going to repeat what Yisrael Meir Druck said this morning. And he sent me a clip of you and Elchanan saying Zman Tzitzis, both together. And I posted it. So,
Oh, that was yesterday.
okay, that was yesterday, actually, even though I wrote down it's today. Anyway, what happened today? Why Elchanan wasn't around?
No, I thought it was Ryan, but I parked up on the mountain, and so by the time I got there, I missed this man.
Okay. Anyway, so אנחנו צריכים קצת עברית בהתחלה, לא הכל אנגלית. Uh, uh, Rabbi Yisrael Meir Sha'al, he asked, it says, Arami Omi Avi, Vayered Mitzrayma. So he said, what is the fact that, first of all the Shiloh, how did he destroy, all sorts of different Mefarshim, that Lovin, how did he destroy our father? Yaakov or Klal Yisrael. Who was he talking to? Why the expression Arami Ovi Ovid? Why didn't he just say Lavan? And then why didn't he say who he destroyed, Klal Yisrael? And then also, why does it say Vayerin Mitzrayim? Arami Ovid Mitzrayim. What does Vayerin Mitzrayim have to do with Arami Omi Ovi? So he gave his own shot saying, what did Lavan do? Lavan changed Leah instead of Rachel. And if Rachel would be the first mother, if she would be, then Yosef would be the Bechor. If Yosef would be the Bechor, then Yaakov would give Yosef the Ksonis Pasim. They say that the Ksonis came all the way back from Adam, and it really is a Ksonis for the Bechor, and there would not have been any jealousy because he would have deserved it as being the Bechor, and therefore there wouldn't have had any kina, and then we wouldn't have sent down to Mitzrayim as a result of the kina. So that's why it says Arami, because Lavan, through his Aramus, by changing Leah for Rachel, Leah for Rachel, and all the way through that was his pshat, Arami Ovi Vayeri Mitzrayim. No? Das ist ein heintige Gefall. Something this.
The the reason that Lovin is so. You have a good. You didn't answer the question. You asked a good question about why doesn't it just say Lovin? Why is it called? Why did we have to refer to him
As a
in Rami
Arami.
Davidovi? Because afterwards, as we say in the Haggadah, the Haggadah reveals to us what the essence of Lovin was. It says Bikesh Lovin Lak or Es Hakol, because Lovin didn't want to physically annihilate his children and grandchildren. He wanted them to
Change your
become
religion.
assimilated,
Assimilate.
and that would do the job, as we know. So that's what.
I
So
think
that's why that's the
this,
pshat la'koris hakol from the roots,
I
from
understand
the
that, but
roots.
I told
But
you there.
why doesn't it just say lovin? Why does it?
No,
Why
but
is the
I think Rabbi Yisrael is hitting the mark. Uh, that he really is emphasizing the Ramos in the exchange. What kind of person, if you're going to marry off a daughter overnight, you exchange it? That's the height of Ramos. So a person like that, you say, this guy is Arami. He's a fraudster. That's that's the push of the shot. But I see you're going tifer, tif. That's where Yiddish. It's called yeshivish. It's not the Yiddish. There's Yeshivish. I want you to know something. Tifer. The grubber finger. That's what we are. Anyway, that was,
I'll just if we're talking about that, I'll just add one interesting note that maybe I've said it before, but whenever we come to this passion, it's the pashas of Bikurim. So it's this parsha is called Vidui Meiser, right? This is the Vidui. He says Biati HaKodesh Min Abayis. This is all Vidui Meiser. The question is, why is it called Vidui? Where's the Vidui here?
What kind of confession? What kind of
Where's
confession?
what kind of confession is it? Sounds like it's confectionery confession. No.
And Kemach Torah.
Right. So I didn't hear it from Rabbi Soloveitchik. I once heard from Rabbi Frand, who quoted Rav Yosef Soloveitchik as saying, as the person who says the vidui says to the Kohen, he says, Osisi kechol asher tzivisoni. He doesn't say Osisi kol asher tzivisoni.
Kechol.
He says Osisi kechol. That's the vidui.
Beautiful.
When a person admits.
Tzvi, I have to admit, I don't remember everything that you've said in Shurim before, but I have a feeling you never really said that before. I would have remembered.
Yeah.
So I think it's a nayazach for the shir. Very nice. Shkayach. Ein beis medrash beli kiddush, beli chiddush. Reb Simcha Bunim me psishcha.
Psishcha.
Seashells in the seashore. Shalom Moshe Chai ben Chaim Avram Gagin. That's the second yard site we mentioned today. And Moshe Yocham Bria ben Yisrael Hopstein. By the way, isn't the head of the Shin Bet Hopstein? I think his name is Hopstein. He must be related. Anyway, so that's today's yard site. And we'll get into, we're not the, what chas v'sholem, if your arteries, you have a problem, what happens? They get clogged. Today is Kuf Lamed Gimel. This is the antidote. Kuf Lamed Gimel. Have patience to the end, okay?
I'll tell you, everybody has simanim. I have a siman for Kuf Lamed Gimel as well.
And what is that? Kugel?
No. Kuf Lamed Gimel is the daf in Chulin, which talks about the Chav Dalet Matnos Kehuna.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Levy. Thank you. I should know that.
I remember that for about 40 years ago in a Daf Yomi shir. The Maggid shir in Boston said it was more than 40.
Is the reason that you remembered it is because the 24 matnas kahuna chas v'shalom could clog your arteries? Well, I mean, what does Kuf Lamed Gimel have to do with it? But it turns out it is. You're right. Let me go. I'm going to share. And see, I don't want to ruin. Yesterday we had a problem. Let me go. I'm going to share sound. I'm going to media player. I'm going to share on the bottom, and I'm going to hit the. Here we are. Kuf Lamed Gimel.
Let's go.
Be patient, be patient, be patient, be patient.
I think this guy's.
What did you want to say, Tzvi, about the first guy?
I think the first guy's name must be Lawrence.
Lawrence Arabia. Very
Yes,
good. Okay.
sounded like something out of an Arab discotheque.
Okay. Anyway, I won't ask you how do you know. Anyway,
I wa- I was thinking of something else too. I know that your background is that you were a lawyer, and then you became a judge, but I think that your secret chief was to be a
cool.
disc jockey. I like
A disc jockey.
you have tremendous hano when you put on the music.
No, but
Okay, guys, here we go.
no, but I gotta tell you the truth. I think David Melech, to just like you do when you criticize it's interesting that you like Moshe Chabusha the best, and he, of course,
I like Derry. I like Derry.
Derry, and also you like Palach. Palach is very
Right. I
more
like also,
selective.
right.
Now those three,
Right.
but when I gave you the yeshiva guy, you sort of your eyebrows went up. And when we say Tehillim in the yeshiva world, it's the other guy, and I'm saying to myself, Tzvi, what are you doing? But anyway, I get even with you because I try to get as much variety as possible out of David and Melech. But anyway, my Yiddish, we didn't sing Achenu. Uh-huh.
Acheinu,
Kol
Kol
Beis
Beis
Yisrael.
Yisrael.
Uh-huh.
Acheinu,
Kol
Kol
Beis
Beis Yisrael.
Yisrael. Hanasunim
Hanisunim
B'Sara.
Batzara,
B'Sara
Batzara
Ubashivya.
Ubashivya,
Omdim
Oim
Vein
Devain
Bayam.
Bayamu,
Uhu
Vein
Vein
Bayam.
Bayabasha. Hamon
Oyama
Okom
Yirachem,
Yerachem.
Yirachem
Rachem
Aleim,
Aleim.
Yaitz,
Yotziei Mitzrayim.
Mitzara, Lerevacha, Lechira, Umishiv Legeola, Hashta, Baga,
Bagola Uvisman Koriv no Amen. I mentioned also when you're right the Rikud underneath. I mentioned the fact that Mirz Hashem 13 more days till the Kaisel. It fell down. Okay, we have to have a gola stick of Scotch tape to keep our poster up. Kashemen Hatov. Azoivi de Gutta oil. How do you like that? For you?
oil.
Oil. Oil Machul Shemayim. Al Rosh mit Vos Aaron is geworden gesalbt Eufen Cup. Gesalbt. That's our first word. Gimel
Must be
Ayin.
Nimshach, must be anointed.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you like that? For contextual. If I told you gesalbt out of the world, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But it's
No,
contextual. That's a lot of way of picking up the language. Yored al
context.
zakan und auf den Kopf rinnt der Salboil auf die Bard. Okay, so rint, that's another reason. Rint is to trickle or the flow. Resh, Yud, Nun, Tes. That's the second word. Gesalbt and rint. Zakan Aaron, the board. I mean, look at the beard is the board. Von Aaron. Was is gewen, der erste, was is gesalbt, gewern, sheroid al pim Yosef, was rint auf die Zavim von sein Hemd. Zavim, seeing if you can figure that out. The Zavim, I'm sorry, Zoim, the border, the edge of the hemd is the shirt. The hemd. Hey,
Right,
mem dalet. So
right.
four
And this is
words.
sure.
Gesalbt, rint, zoim, and hemd. Those are my Yiddish words for today.
Tell me why the pasuk is describing when Moshe Rabbeinu anointed Aaron, right?
Right.
And the oil flowed down
On his
on his
beard.
head onto his beard.
Right.
So why does it say skan Aaron? Why does it David Melech repeat the word skan?
Yored al Zakan, debord von Aaron, and in parentheses, was is gewen der erste, was is gezolt geweren, shiroid al pimodosov. was rennt auf dem Säulen von sein Hemd. That it,
Say, why isn't it enough to say the word
I think
sakan
I
once?
think according to the parish, not the Taich, according to the parish, he wants to emphasize that he was the first one. Aaron, who was the first one that the oil was used and went down. That's I thought
So let him say Aaron Aaron. Why does he say scan scan?
he wants to emphasize that that was the beard.
Why
But
did
anyway, okay, listen. In the good old days, we used to say, "I hope Shmayahu or Peugeot." So if anybody wants to give us another shot for Zakat, do you have?
well I'll give you the answer.
Oh, good. I'm listening. Who
And I'll
who
give you
asked
the
the
answer
question?
not from Shmayo and not from Peugeot, but from
Ramosha.
Reb Shalom Shvadron.
Rav Sholem. Oh, Rav Sholem. Rav Sholem.
I heard from Reb Shalom. I heard from Reb Shalom many years ago. He asked the question and he said, because when Moshe Rabbeinu anointed Aaron, Moshe Rabbeinu in the beginning of Avatot Tetzaveh, Moshe Rabbeinu still thought that he was going to be the Kohen Gadol.
Uh-huh.
And then when Hashem says to him, Atot Tetzaveh, then he realized that he wasn't going to be the Kohen Gadol anymore. But there was a half, he thought it was Hami that he was going to be the Kohen Gadol. Nevertheless, when he anoints Aaron and he pours the oil on him, and it goes down and flows onto the beard, so it says skan twice because when it was going down Aaron's beard, Moshe Rabbeinu had so much love for Aaron that it was like he was flowing on his beard as
His
well.
own beard himself.
Yeah.
Wow. Zakan, Zakan. Well, oh, Rav Sholem. Beautiful. Ishkayach. It's I hope people understand Allah zol verstehen shehulam yavinu she'anachnu the first time last round of Tehillim we did the first pasuk. Now this round of Tehillim we do the second Tehillim. We do the second pasuk, and Mir Hashem the third round we'll do the third pasuk and Azoi Gate the Vaita. To Heint is the yard site. I'm putting myself in peril. Reb Simcha Bunim mi pshischa. How do you like that?
Good. Good. Very
Okay,
good.
not good.
Very
Enough so
good.
bad. Okay, I'm not going to say it
Very good.
again. You quit while you're ahead. Ben Reb Tzvi Bonherd nolad bevadislav ב-1765 ונפטר בפשיסחה. That's where he got the name. The Pshivscha that's where he lived, which was near south, 100 kilometers south of Warsaw. Biyom Yud Beis Elul, he was Nifter, which is today, Yud Beis Elul, the 12th of Elul. El Shmonot Esrei Sheva, I see you've reached your destination.
Yes, I have.
Emanilo Toeh. So, no
So we
excuse.
wish you well.
We wish you a bear, barely. I wish you a well. Anyway, let's Mirz Hashem a little winkle for this week's parsha. Tisova. It shall
Yeah,
come.
we'll
It shall
try.
come.
Yes. Yeah, yesterday, each day is like
Tell me about it.
Bezrat
Tell me,
Hashem.
it's interesting. Everybody says you need a vacation from a vacation. So in this
Yeah,
case, we need a vacation from the vacation from the vacation.
yeah.
There's no chofishes, we forget about it. Anyway, we're in Elul. Great to Rosh Hashanah. Have a Yom Tov.
Yom Tov, Chaim
Chaim
Tovim.
Tovim. Tzvi. Okay, so we're talking about Reb Simcha Bunim. Simcha Bunim Chazal the Polin who could karev lechasidus nasal Reb Yisrael Amagin Nikozhnitz v'Reb Moshe Leib Misosav nitmaneh al asakav shel Ishir al asakav. He was like the guardian. He was a conservator of the properties of the wealth of Regson, Moshe Leib. Isher, the person by the name of Bregson, Shahaya Meroshe Kilat Varsha, Mitom Chasidus. Betochev Tafkido Lamed Polanit. So in the course of his employment, he learned the Polish language, Germanic, German, the Latinate, and Latin. Lavash Begodim Europim. He wore, instead of yeshivish clothing, he wore Europeische clothing. Achakach Lamed Rochus. Bedanzik, he learned pharmaceuticals and in pharmacology. He learned in Danzig, סיים עם דיפלומה, פתח בית מרקחת בפשיסחה, and he actually opened up a pharmacy. Shapirnes also, b'chavod rav, and he got a good parnasa. B'hashpas, Rab David Milelev, Nasal Rab Yaakov Tzvi Horowitz l'Chozeh מלובלין, שכיבדו מאוד, משך ימי שהותו בלובלין, נתקרב מאוד אל תלמידו של חזה, הרב יעקב יצחק רבינוביץ היהודי. He was known, Achsidim קראו יהודי, או יהודי הקדוש מכיוון ששמו שובל השם רבו החוזה, so they didn't want to call him the same name, Yaakov, Yitzchak, so they called him Yehudi. Od nimuk shenikra Yehudi, ki rov anfunosov, his great humility, k'shechida is divrei Torah, hu lo omer b'shem atzmo, ela nagla omer, shamati miyehudi echad shechide. Yehudi HaKodesh, because he would always talk the Hilam Shem anonymously. Darkos Reb Simcha Bunim Haisal Yoser lekivun hitamkus, loma v'limei Torah b'charifus, לא נמנה גם מעיון דבר מחקר ומחשבה הרבה לעסוק בגמרא, ברמב"ם וכאביב בספרי המהר"ל מפראג. חסידי פשיסחה התעניינו יותר בספרי הלכה מחשבה בתורה הנסתר. כשיהודי נפטר, נס רב שמחה בונם לארשו בנה את חצרו בפשיסחה. בעולם החסידות הייתה התנגדות גדולה לדרכו החדשה. בחסן החסידות המפורסמת באוסטרליה, המחותן היה רב אברהם יהושע השל מאהבתא, נאספו חסידי פולין וגליציה והתכוונו להטיל חרם על חסידות פשיסחה. אבל רב שמחה בונם שלח לשם משלחת גדולה ובראשס ותלמידו הצוער רב יצחק מאיר אלתר מגור, החידוש הערים, והם הגיבו בכבוד על פשיסחה ולא הוכרז חרם, גם הודות להתערבו של הרבי מאהבתא. Okay, Rabbi Yehuda Kodesh bikesh pami talmida Reb Simcha Bunim sheyagid eishu posik Reb Simcha Bunim amamash nemar al shira sazinu vaydaber Moshe beozni kol Yisrael divrei Torah zos ad tumam mi'amar amal Rebbe ad tumam shelo kol kach boror machdish b'zeh Yehudi Kodesh gam Reb Henech Alexander haya be'os Mamid samach Reb Simcha Bunim simcha gdola al amarti al imrasa shel Yehudi. כי הבין את עומק כוונתו, אילו המילה תומם, הייתה מפרשת על השירה, היה צריך לכתוב תומה בלשון יחיד. אלא ודאי הפירוש הוא שמשה רבינו ילך ודבר את השירה כמה וכמה פעמים לתוך לפרובס בני ישראל, עד אשר עשה אותם את בני ישראל לשלמים ותמימים עד תומם, in plural, so the heart of everyone in Israel. עד כאן רב שמחה בונם. היום זה גם היורצייט של שלום משה חי, בן חיים אברהם גגין, שנולד ב-1832 ונפטר ב-1883, נולד בירושלים, חונך על ידי אביו, ואחר כך בידידיה, רפואל אבוליפיה, ואצל רבני ישיבת המקובלים בבית אל. ב-1862 היה שדר שליח דרבנן לצפון אפריקה, צרפת. ב-1878 היה שליחות נוסף לאיטליה. חזר, היה ראש ישיבת המקובלים בית אל, הוא חיבר סמך נפש ישמח לב וישמח משה, סביב האוהל שיר תהילות. עד כאן רב שלום משה חי. היום זה גם כיורצייט של משה אליקים בריה בן ישראל הופשטיין, שנולד ב-1757 ונפטר ב-1828. המכונה בר משה נולד לאביו המגד מקוז'ניץ, הוא היה תלמיד של אלימלך מליז'ינסק וזושה מנפולי. ב-1815 היה כתר כאדמו"ר מקוז'ניץ השני. הוא חיבר באר משה, דס משה, קילס משה, הלכש משה, משה, פרק משה, תפילס משה, ויכל משה. עד כאן היורצייטים של היום. עכשיו, היום, מירצה השם, אנחנו נתחיל ונגמור, הכל הפרק שלם, פרק שני של החלק הראשון, אהבת חסד. בפרק זה יבואר מחברי התורה במצוות תעשה זו. כל ישראל, פה סעיפים. כל ישראל חייבים במצווה זו של גמילת חסד. בין איש, בין אישה, man, woman, בין עשיר, בין עני, wealthy or poor, מי שלמטה ממנו, whoever is in a lower, inferior, lower financial status, כל אחד לפי כל, everyone according to their ability. The law nasan Torah shir law, there is no specific amount that you are required to give, hari mitzvah tzedakah, and it's considered like charity. Shekol Yisrael chayavim ba. It's not just a double rishus. It's a chiyuv kedisa b'gemara, as it's brought down in Gittin, Zion Amid Beis, Biradeh Shimon Ramach Sif Aleph. Sif Beis. Ba'med, what are we talking about? Isha chayev. How do we say that woman is chayev? Habizman she'ein laba. We're talking about if she's not married. If she has a husband, she's not allowed to take the money in their household without her husband knowing about it. Let's say if she runs the business herself in the house, so even if she runs the business in the house, she shouldn't give a loan unless it's a small amount. Why a small amount? Because the husband would not be so picky about it. He or Das should know that her husband, that's in his nature, he would okay with it. That he would not be overly concerned about. With Dafka Mos, this is only permission or authorization or knowledge by the husband when it comes to money. Avol clay bias when it comes to lending pottery or kalim, any other vessel, osin shurugilin, hashchenim hashel ish l'reo, a salt shaker, or you borrow these what you normally would lend to your neighbor. You don't have to let your husband know about something like that. And a husband whose wife is always arguing with him about making loans, even according to halacha, you really could ignore her, because it's his money, and technically not hers. To avoid machlokas, good thing not to reveal what he's doing. We're talking about a household where she would start up. So to avoid any machlokas, to have shalom bias. A woman who objects to her husband doing mitzvahs, she herself is performing a big avera. She will eventually have to answer a judgment for this. On the other hand, but if she encourages her husband to give loans and do mitzvahs, she will get a big schar for that. Sif Gimel. Gama isha isko parnasahu me'inyan hava. Even someone who is a money lender, and he actually charges interest to loans to Gentiles, which is permissible. It's interesting that he uses the word loan when we're talking about heter iska. Heter iska, of course, is a special inyan where a person writes a document and says that it is not simply a loan which you're not allowed to take interest on. It is an investment where there's profit and loss. So it becomes heter iska, not a loan. But he says, if it's such a thing, you should really not charge the ani, but give a loan free, as we say, the Free Loan Society, which is Gamach, Kafi Hasagas Yado, according to his ability. That's the coming attractions. The Chavetz Chaim says, talking about it's something to look for in the future. I just got a warning. So okay, we know our time is limited. Yesterday, we cut off the shir in the middle. There are 5 sifrim. We're up to sif dalid. Misha osek b'Torah, ubo echad levot mimenu, v'i efshar l'mitzvah zu l'hasos ayidei cherim, tzorich levato milimud b'shvil mitzvah zu. What happens if a person, Toroso, Noso, he's full-time learning, and someone asks him, could you take the time out to give me a loan? If there's no one else to give the loan, he is to stop his learning and to give the loan. And it doesn't make a difference in acherem, it doesn't make a difference if there are other people who don't want to, there are no people available to give the loan, or there are other people available, but they don't want to give the loan. Tumya, and in parentheses it says, Demashevi b'chokmas adam, Rab Aaron Danzig, the Chai Adam Chokmas Adam says, B'Shem Aridbaz, Ba'ani sheyesh lo krovim mishirim. We're talking about even a poor person who has wealthy relatives. They ain't rosim lefarnasa, and they don't want to give him a loan. So you'd say, oh, look, if they don't want to give him a loan, I don't have to give him a loan. The chiyuv chal al kol. Nevertheless, you have a chiyuv to give a loan. Ayin sham v'hachi nami b'inyanenu. Okay, and now to the last sif, hey, in this parak, parak sheni, v'hakafas hachanus, extending credit in a store, your grocery store, when you have one of these books for, you credit, you buy groceries on credit. The owner of the store is not required to give a loan. Whatever credit he extends, that's a business thing, but it's not really a loan. Echad, why? He needs the money so that he could buy his the inventory. If he overextends himself in credit, he won't have money to buy and to keep himself in business. And moreover, that credit in a store is not considered a loan. So this type of credit is not part of the mitzvah imtalva. However, if there is a poor person who comes to the store and needs to buy and doesn't have the money, something, it's an important thing to keep the person alive. You can't say, I have a business, I can't give you the loan. If he has the ability, the lu yihi, the ein zeh b'chlal mitzvah saseh, the im kesef talva, if it's not specifically in the pasuk kesef talva, halo lo nafik zeh al kol panim michlal masha arkachach v'chiyam l'chakicho mata yada nachlik azakdabo. If it's not that pasuk, it's the other pasuk that if you have a person who's about to fall, you have to keep strengthening him. Ramah Chazal in the Sifra Parshat Bahar Parshat Ches hachzik bo, strengthen him. Ad shelo yipo, so he does not become bankrupt, yitzarech lebios, and will be dependent upon everybody else instead of keeping himself afloat. So we have finished Messiah Perek Beis, and I will thank you very much. And at this point, I will mention until I get edited out. I wish everyone Chaim Tovim, but I'm going to try to read quickly the footnotes. The first footnote, Va'afilu, and by the way, this is Netiva Chesed. If I don't finish it, I publish every day the text. You can look it up yourself. It says, Ein la reshut l'havot mamono shalom midato va'afilu im hi nosit notes b'toch habayis. Va'afilu, even if she runs a business in the house. Ayin b'choshe mishpat simin tzadik vav, b'sif vav, ba'agor, sheposak, gedas ha'marik, va'afilu das ha'shach, sham b'sif katan tet, the maskim, the yesh cholkin, hainu dafka, sham sheyesh labal, hano, me'amomen shalopsa, o shevkilasa. Only in a situation where the husband gets some sort of benefit from the money that was lent, that she uses the money to lend. Kamo shekasav hashach esham behedya b'sof tvor ma she'en kein b'yinenu. However, not in our situation. That there the husband is okay with it, but in our situation it's a pure loan. The imhi mishaeres sha'al yudei menias halva lo yehefsid lo. If she figures out that by that there is no loss, b'vada yesh lo l'havos, then she should surely give the loan to whom niklal mamasha kasavna im hiodas. Okay, davar ma'at. We said if it's a small amount, it's okay. Footnote bays. The law gorazem yitzlaka the mutar the kabel mehem davar muad mitam zeh. A loan is just like the whole chos of tzedakah. For small amount of money, the husband would be okay. Kamosh pasach b'yordea simin ramach sivdalad v'ayim sham b'pischei shuva masha kasavnu osha hiyadas v'hakol chad hamav mikol makom mistapna in mechuyeves lahalvos o af ba'ofen zeh achred mikol makom hamos en shalot v'rak muteres lahalvos v'lo chayeves. She has the rishus. She's allowed to, but she is not obligated to. V'ayim perik aleph if you gimel menesiv hachesed shon the os chavdalad pikodem after mutar lishtamish bo. If someone gives you something money to hold, you're allowed to use it. Yochol gam kain lahoshish eitzos benafsha la'achzir apikodem labalav izmano, as long as you return the pikodem in this time. Afilu hachi ein lechliv halvos. Even nevertheless, you do not have an obligation to lend with that money, even the be'emes amos and ishlo, because the money is not really yours. V'yesh l'chalik the shom kivan the derech habal apikodem lesof litzvo apikodono al kain lo mikrizeh ki'ilu yesh lo ashamos, because the Bala Bikodim could always ask for the return of the money. It's not your money. Therefore, ma she'en kein b'inyanenu. But in our case, we're talking about a woman's in her home, and it's the money of the Baal. Kivan she'yadas she'en abal makbid azez. She knows that the husband will be okay with a small amount. Hari ki'ilu hirshalo behedya. It's as if he gave her authority. It's implicit authority. Shetilvuk mils chasonim mimono to use the money for chesed. The Chavetz Chaim says in the Tiv Chesed, it's still not so clear. It's not her money, it belongs to the husband. However, from the aspect of Chesed, she should surely give it because her husband should do the mitzvah. Two more footnotes, Gimel and Dalid. Just again, we point out that he brings down the sources, and I think we've reached the end of all the footnotes. I wish everyone Chaim Tovim, a wonderful day, and chazer over what we learned. Chaim Tovim.